Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Soul Infused Monday. Here, hosted live from the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I am excited to talk about the shameful truth of emotions today. So, as always, I know it always takes a moment for people to come in. You might be watching the recording. So, either way, leave a comment below, say hello, tell me where you're looking, tell me where you're watching from. Let me know if you hear me well. And in just a few seconds, I'm gonna officially start. And there's just a huge plane flying above my house. You might not hear it, but it's pretty loud for me. So just give me a few seconds. And while you wait for me, just take a nice deep breath. Take a nice deep breath. Take another one. Doesn't that feel good? So if you haven't done that this morning, or if you don't start your day by taking a really beautiful, nice deep breath, it's never too late. Okay, so today is full moon. And a lot of people really struggle with feeling more emotional on the full moon. And some people are more aware of it than others. But it makes kind of sense because the moon affects the water on this planet. And we are made mainly of water. And it doesn't even matter if you believe in that stuff or it's spiritual or not. Fact is that throughout the full moon, before the full moon, during the full moon, even a little bit after the full moon, depending on how strong the full moon is, it affects our emotions. And I'm sharing this with you because today is a beautiful full moon. And I personally got triggered yesterday so strongly that I haven't felt in a long time. And I wanted to use that for today to be transparent, to teach you, and to also bring that a little bit more out on the surface, because we often really judge our emotions. We try to deny them. We try to hide them. And we are everyone on this planet deals with emotions. It's part of our makeup. So before I dive into it real deep, say hello. Who is here watching right now? Send me a comment. Send me some love. I always acknowledge those people who are actually showing up live. Because when you show up live, you get also the most out of it. And why am I calling this the shameful truth about emotions? Because it's always easy to feel good about yourself and to deal with things when you feel good. But when you hit something and it triggers something that's deeply painful or shameful, we do everything to kind of put it aside or to hide it, right? So, hi Karen, love your commitment. Love your commitment. Always here. Love it. So let me tell you something about my day yesterday. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because it doesn't really matter. What happened is more what was triggering in me, what happened, and how I actually dealt with it so that I didn't stay stuck. Have you ever, felt kind of good, things were going fine, you were feeling good about yourself, and then something happened? Maybe you got a call from your ex-husband, or somebody rejected you, or you read something somewhere and it triggered a strong emotion in you. Did that ever happen to you? I mean, I'm sure it did. So I'm asking this, but I'm sure it did. So what happened to me yesterday, that someone triggered something in me and it was really painful. I felt like this pain in my heart, and I felt rejected and not wanted and all of that. And because I know the intensity was just triggering something old in me, it had nothing to do with that person. So that's hint number one. When you have a strong emotional reaction to something, that's always a red flag or an opportunity to see, hey, it's triggering a wound that's older. It's opening up a layer, because when there's really strong emotions involved that kind of don't make really sense with what is really happening, there's wounding. And it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to really face it, to look at it so that you can heal and transform it. Because what we usually do is we hit that and it's painful, and then we either obsess on the outside or try to control the situation. For me, it was like I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to reach out and control the situation, and instead of looking, hey, what's actually happening inside of me? What am I feeling? And own it and take responsibility. So before I move on, let me know, does that make sense? Is it something that you would like to know more about, is how to really deal with your strong emotions, or how you can be shifting it quicker? Because we're always going to deal with emotions for the rest of our lives, period. And if I'm sharing this also with you because sometimes it might appear, that teachers or experts or gurus or whatever seem like, oh, they have it all together all the time, they never struggle. And that's totally bullshit. Everybody struggles with that stuff sometimes. How you deal with it and being open about it really helps, because we are all in the same boat. We all have those emotions. And I want to be very clear that anything you feel is part of everything in the world. Like, everybody has those parts, regardless if we are open with it or not. And I'm really adamant about bringing more transparency, more honesty, more connection within, between people. Because as soon as we hide anything, as soon as you hide anything, or as soon as you want to pretend you don't have that emotion, energetically as you close up, because that's what hiding is about. And at the same time, I know that we all long for love and connection and feeling good and having our needs met and being connected to our souls. So you always want to stay open. Okay? Let me know if this makes sense. Yes, it makes sense. Okay, great. Awesome. And I also wanted to share with you what I did that helped me, because that's the whole point, to teach, hey, okay, what am I going to do with it? Number one was really important to me to convey to you that you feel this way, that you are emotional, is totally normal, and there's nothing wrong with it. And unfortunately, also in our society, or depending you grow up, there's often also that thing of, oh, women are so emotional, and men are less emotional. And the thing is, like, we are all emotional. Men and women struggle with emotions. They just deal with it differently. And the same way that we are conditioned in a way as a woman, men are conditioned a different way. Like, it's not okay to be emotional, and for women, it's like, you are too emotional. So all those judgments don't really help you feel better about it and to deal better with it, right? And so if you are in a space right now where you feel, hey, the full moon is, like, I don't know, yesterday I was something, or the day before, or I feel like more emotional, first of all, just be totally okay that you feel that way. Be loving and kind with yourself. And accept that you are also an emotional being. It sucks sometimes. It's annoying sometimes, right? I mean, it's like we lose ourselves sometimes. You might feel good, and then someone comes along and says something, and it crushes us, right? And there's a lot of thinking and emotions, and oh my God, and I'm no good, and I'm not that. So we lose ourselves, literally, energetically also, and are so attached on the outside. And that's never a good feeling, right? So nobody really enjoys that. But the number one thing is to really accept yourself for who you are and for having emotions in the first place. So let me tell you the two things that I've done yesterday that helped me the most. And of course, I have a lot of tools. I've been doing this for years. If that would have happened to me, I don't know, years ago, I would have struggled with it maybe for days, for weeks, or even maybe for months. However, for me, it was like really dealing with it yesterday, and then I felt free, loving, open for the rest of the day. So one of the most valuable things or powerful things, and I've talked about this in the past, is to ask for help. don't try to figure it all out by yourself if you don't want to stay stuck. I have a very small tolerance for suffering or being stuck anymore because I've been there in the past for years. So if I know there's something I can do to make me feel better, I will. And often or sometimes it means to ask for help. Okay? So I asked a friend of mine who is an energy healer himself, and me sharing with him and talking about it and he walking me through certain steps for me to really realize what was going on inside of me, that helped tremendously. So whatever that person is for you in your life, maybe you have a coach, maybe you have a mentor, maybe you have a good friend who knows about shifting the energy or helping you through it. You don't want to share that with someone who's just going to say, oh, poor you, and blame someone else. Does that make sense? Let me know if this makes sense. And I know not so many people are live here today, and a lot of people will watch the recording. So let me know, the few people that are here live right now, if this makes sense, if you have any questions, and if this is valuable. This is really important to me because I'm doing this show for you. So the more I know what's actually helpful for you, I can do more of that for you in the future. Okay, great. So that was number one. Ask for help and let someone help you process it through. What it does is also you get more clarity. Because in the beginning I was kind of stuck more on the outside, what was happening, the behavior or how I was feeling. And why I call it the shameful truth about emotions is because when I allowed myself to dig deeper and to really look, how am I feeling? Like, how is this making me feel? And I digged a little deeper and unraveled the layers. There was an old thing coming up about not being good enough, not being beautiful enough, not being worthy enough, and then also a fear and a trying to control a situation that make me feel better. And what I found out underneath that was a very old belief, a generational belief, by the way, that I will always be alone. That I will always end up alone, that I'm always alone. And I tracked it back, and I felt like I kind of really absorbed that from my mother. My grandmother felt the same. And if we don't break the chain, we keep it on, we pass it on and pass it on. We don't do it intentionally, but that's how it works. So it allowed me to really dig so deep and to use the opportunity because I'm always, passionate about looking and clearing and becoming more free. And so it was for me the huge opportunity, and it was painful. It was painful to feel that. I felt it in my chest. It was kind of like a nod. It was tense, and this is not easy. That's why without help, it's really, not easy to really own it unless you have the practice. Because the second thing, besides of asking for help, the second thing, the most important piece is that you look at it, you face it, and you take responsibility and you own it. Because it's shameful to admit that we feel like not good enough, or there's still a part in us that gets triggered and that we lose ourselves. Like, these emotions create so much shame that we would rather do anything, and one thing is really blaming or staying with your mind obsessed about something. So when you, and I don't know, I think most people, tell me, but if something goes on, we know that feeling of being obsessed about somebody or something constantly, and it kind of consumes all of you, right? And when that happens to you, that's also a sign there's something deeper going on, an emotion or a belief or something it's deeper that we don't want to see. And we avoid it basically by being focused on the outside. Okay? So asking for help, huge piece, because it helps you to shift through it quicker. You don't want to stay stuck there in your head, in your emotions for hours, for days, for months, for years. And then to really own it as your own, to take responsibility, even if it's painful, because underneath, when you really go there, you work through it and you open it up, That's where love can flow again. That's where openness can, when you can open up and where you can release that piece that's actually coming up for you as an opportunity to heal. Okay? So valuable, star high, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, great, it makes sense. Awesome. Do you have any questions? I have a few more minutes. If you have any questions, or if you can tell me what does relate, how do you deal with your emotions? What is your biggest struggle when it comes to strong emotions or, dealing with emotions? What is your biggest struggle so that I can help you move a step forward? Okay. And one other thing I also want to share, because the hiding is a super, super crucial piece. We don't do that consciously. I mean, you don't feel something and then you say, oh, you know what? I don't want to have this. I'm going to hide it. It's often that we are not even aware of what the real feeling is underneath. And when you explore what's really going on inside of you and you connect to that and you take responsibility, it's so empowering. It's beautiful, because the essence underneath that pain, the essence underneath that emotion, that old wound is beautiful. And that's actually what wants to unfold by you going through it. And another example, I just spoke to a colleague of mine and she was sharing with me, hey, I have this new client and I'm actually insecure. I'm a little bit afraid of the session. It's like, okay, what are you afraid of? She said, well, she has done so many things already and want to do this exercise and I'm not so sure if it's going to help. What if she doesn't feel a shift? And she was in all of that. And then I said, okay, it's not about the client at all. So this person is triggering something deep inside of you. And what I feel is it triggers something like, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not capable enough? What if, and then to dig deeper, see, okay, this is my opportunity to clear that layer and to rise up to the next level. Okay, let me see what you're coming here. Keep up the great work, Sonia. Yes, Jack, thank you. My biggest struggle, I think, is frustration at the moment at my lack of clarity on my next step to take. Yeah, Karen, super great point. I'm going to address that towards the end now. Frustration and judgment is one of the first reactions we have when something is going on and we don't have clarity. So even though that's not easy, but the first thing you want to do when you feel that way is take a deep breath. And to really tell yourself, this is how I'm feeling right now. Even, hey, I'm even frustrated. Even that is okay. There's something deeper that I'm not seeing yet. There's something deeper that I'm not seeing yet, and that's okay. And you take another breath. And be okay that you don't have the clarity yet, because when we are overtaken by emotions from an energetical perspective, it really shuts off your clarity, your third eye, your vision, your connection to your soul. So it's kind of like a whole mush. You are a mush of emotions. And combined with, our hormones, the moon, whatever is going on in our life, sometimes we're just a ball of mush, right? And that's okay, because that's just part of being a human being and experiencing that. And then you take a breath, you slow down. And instead of wanting to find that solution right away or that clarity or to get out of it, because that's how we resist to tune in. You want to tune in, okay, how am I feeling underneath? Okay, I'm frustrated. Okay, why am I frustrated? Because, I don't see the clarity. Okay, so but what do you feel underneath? And it's like, okay, I'm actually angry, or I'm actually sad, or I feel lonely. That was I hit yesterday. I felt this part in me that felt lonely and was triggered by that emotion of, oh my God, I'm always going to be alone. So you want to dig deeper, but with love and kindness and compassion. Does that make sense? Is this helpful, Karen? Let me know if this is helpful. Hi, June. Love to see you here. Yeah, you jumped on. Yeah, wonderful. Karen, let me know if this was helpful. And I'm going to take one more minute if anything else is coming up. I want to keep this short and crisp for today. I want to encourage you to go on a beautiful full moon walk today. Embrace your emotions. love yourself, own your emotions, take responsibility of your emotions, so that you really can become free to be who you are, present, and not be a victim and in a prison of old stuff that's coming up. So if old stuff is coming up, if you feel super emotional, be happy about it. Embrace it. Be grateful for the opportunity that something is coming up for you for healing and transformation. Okay, so I stay in my head and I don't allow the emotions to appear to others. Unless it's anger, then everyone knows I need more love, kindness. Yes, that's a great, yeah, you tune in, you want to, and just for you to know, we can't really hide. Energy always flows. And it's not about other people either. But the more you hide, it will come out in other ways. And it goes against your system as well. And it's not about showing it necessarily on the outside. It's for you to owning it and showing it to yourself first. And if you do that, you can stay connected. Yeah, and if you're really angry, it's hard to hide. Yeah, I get that. Okay. So, wonderful. Thank you so much for showing up today. Enjoy whatever craziness is in your life. Enjoy whatever beautiful is going on in your life. This is a beautiful full moon. And if you need more guidance, or if you feel like you need more like more kindness, more love towards yourself, there's a link for my free guided self-love meditation that you can download. And I highly recommend you doing that for 21 days to really have a shift in your system. If you have any other questions, leave me a comment below. I'm going to be a couple of minutes here after I'm done. And I can't wait to see you next Monday again for a next episode of Soul Infused Monday. Much love.